She's playing with my mind, I don't really got the time. I don't wanna play your games. Oh, you used to be so kind, now I'm thinking that I'm blind, cause it all went up in flames.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Pluries here, back at it again with another YouTube video. So today we are going to be going over my Warzone 2 in-game settings. It's honestly a video that I thought I would have already made by now, but this is actually also the very first time I've been making a video in over a year on the channel. I do apologize for the long leave of absence from the channel, guys, but we are back and we are grinding. When I say I mean Viper, Medella, and myself are grinding. We recently just got Medella into content creation, so we're definitely looking forward to what Warzone 2 has to bring, and we really just hope that they'll bring our movement back from Warzone 1. But we're definitely interested in pursuing content on this game much more thoroughly now, so look for more to come. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Alrighty, guys, so we'll start with controller. I play on controller if you don't know already, and then we'll get into graphics, audio, and lastly interface. All right, so my button layout is tactical, and I play with no flip for the back bumper and triggers. My controller vibration is off, and I'm really only going to touch on stuff that's that I've changed from the standard default setting that Call of Duty has issued in game. Controller vibration is off. If you have not learned yet to play with controller vibration off, I highly recommend that you try it. It only take maybe a week of getting used to it. It's going to feel weird at first, as anything would, but you'll be happy that you switched, and you'll see a lot of positive effects from it. My stick sensitivity, this is something I do want to touch on. There's two routes you can go. You can go with a higher horizontal and vertical stick sensitivity with a lower ADS sensitivity multiplier, or you can go with a lower horizontal and vertical stick sensitivity with a higher ADS sensitivity multiplier. I used to play on 7.7 here, with this being 0.9 or 0.95. So I was playing at like 6 and some change, or like 5.8, maybe if it was like 0.9 with my ADS sensitivity. I felt like I was a little slow in general, so I actually went up to a higher horizontal and vertical stick sensitivity, but lowered my ADS sensitivity multiplier so that I stayed just a bit above what I was before. Statistically, that's actually just as beneficial, and I personally think that this is the better route. The reason for this is because the higher vertical and horizontal stick sensitivity will give you the capability to move around and loot quicker. You'll look around quicker, but when you're ADS and you're looking to really be accurate and hit your shots, a lower ADS sensitivity multiplier is going to make sure that figure is not too high. If this was a 0.9, it would be 9 sensitivity. Being at a 0.7, I keep it down at 7. And a lot of pros play between 6 and 8, so obviously it's a good setting to kind of go off of. And I think this is a good metric. Viper plays 12-12 here with, I think, 0.7 or 0.75. So he plays a little bit higher, but still, you know, he plays higher with the horizontal vertical stick sensitivity and lower with his ADS sensitivity multiplier. As far as everything else, I kind of left it the same. For this, only two things I'll touch on in this section are prioritize, interact, and apply all. So as you'll be able to see, my webcam is blocking a little bit of it, but the prioritize just basically means that when they're both simultaneously available, you will prioritize interact, meaning tap to interact, hold to reload. This would be that you would prioritize reload, meaning tap to reload, and hold to interact when they're both simultaneously available. I think that interacting with tap and holding with reload when both are available is more beneficial for me. So you have to go off of what you prefer, but I prefer this. As far as apply all, if you have apply all, that means you're going to automatically apply plates. So therefore, you're going to technically get back full plated quicker than if you were applying each one with human delay. I think that it's best because you can always cancel your plate interaction just by pressing the button. For me, it's triangle. I could stop a plate interaction early if I need to engage or whatever. For advanced settings, I use default for my aim assist type. Recently changed it when Black Ops was nerfed. As of July 2023, when I'm filming this video, default is definitely the go-to method now. A dynamic aim response curve is what I utilize. My input dead zones are going to be 0.1 for the minimum and 1.0 for the maximum on my sticks. And then my triggers are going to be 0 because obviously there's no way to get stick drift on triggers. Another thing I'll say for the controller, guys, before we end, is I highly recommend you get some sort of back button attachment. This was my DualShock PS4 controller. I had the $30 back button attachment from Sony. I found it to be a lot more beneficial and cost effective than going out and getting like a Battle Beaver or a Scuff, because I had one bad experience with the Scuff. Viper had one for, you know, a year. I actually did have one for about 9 or 10 months that I had before, but I also bought a new one during Warzone 1, and it literally lasted me like 2 or 3 weeks, and Scuff was absolutely no help. They basically were pretty much just like, hey man, you're shit out of luck, sorry but not sorry, and they didn't really offer to help me very much. And so kind of gave me like kind of a bad impression with them, and I didn't really want to give them any business. So I looked for an alternative. And now that I play on PlayStation 5, well, I play with a PlayStation 5 controller on PC, I'm using the DualSense Edge, which is kind of PlayStation's model, similar to like the Xbox Elite controller, which is basically just an in-house, like Sony's version of a competitor product to the typical SCUF. So I highly recommend that just because it gives you a lot more feasibility and capabilities on the game. Being able to utilize multi-functions on the back of your controller. But again, yeah, my dead zones are that. Gyro settings, I didn't touch anything really for the rest of this whole entire like advanced controller settings section. I didn't touch anything. The majority of this stuff I left pretty standard, I believe. The only thing I did touch is the parachute auto deploy. I took that off. I believe that I can time it more accurately than Call of Duty's automated system timing it, and therefore I usually end up getting to the ground sooner, getting looted quicker, and getting some of those easy kills in the beginning of the game. Other than that, yep, the rest of these are pretty much just same, I think. All right, guys, moving on to graphics. So again, with graphics settings, same as controller, like it's what's specific to me. Now, this is even more important than controller because controller is based on preference. Graphics is based on capability. So if you don't have a really good PC, you're going to have to run a lot of stuff at lower. I personally prefer lower just because I don't really care to optimize or strain my PC. I would rather focus on, even though I have a dual PC setup, I'd rather focus on trying to run my game at the highest quality, and not as far as visual quality, but performance quality, so that I can get that over to my stream PC and put out the best quality of content for you guys. So I have a 2070 Super, RTX 2070 Super graphics card. I run 165 hertz, 1080, 1920, or 1920, 1080, I mean. Custom frame rate, actually I need to change this. Now that I got 165 hertz monitor, 60 and 30, because you don't really need anything in menu. And then pretty much everything is just, the rest is pretty standard. I run 100 for render resolution with NVIDIA image scaling for my upscaling and sharpening. My anti-aliasing is Filmic SMA T2X. Run an 80 for video memory scale. And then I run a lot of like low or off settings for a lot of this. So you want to, slow the video down 0.5 and just kind of follow along. This is one section I'll touch on that I did edit. Obviously, this stuff is by default on. I took all of 3 of these off. I believe that they're just going to hinder your visual quality and your performance. Don't really recommend using them. And then film grain, of course, I don't know why that was even ever a thing. So take that off. I play with 120 FOV, wide 90 third person, wide for vehicle, 50/50, which is the least for the first and third person camera movement, and then first person ADS and game perspective for these 2 settings. All right, guys, so moving into audio, I play at 100 master volume, but I do have a different allocation for some of these settings. I play with 0 gameplay music volume. I would rather hear in-game sounds to help me out in my performance than gameplay music. For dialogue and effects, I played 100 voice chat just because some of the non-party members' voices are going to come through very harsh and loud. I put that down to 70. Cinematic music volume at 30, and my war tracks at 50. A lot of my audio is going to say default system device because I run a dual PC setup with everything routed through my Go XLR coming from my gaming PC into my streaming PC. So that is why my setting is going to probably be that for everything, whereas yours may not. Pretty much everything else is default to the regular settings. I do take off subtitles. I find them to be annoying. You may have them on. If you choose to keep them on, that's your preference. I choose to take them off. Only other thing, guys, really that I touched is inside interface. Go to color customization. I did filter 2. Filter targets both, and then the intensity is 100 for each with Tritonopia as the palette. I believe this to give your base game a little bit of vibrance. The only other thing I can say for visual quality is going to be something that unfortunately I cannot pull up on the screen to show you because I have a mini mechanical keyboard that doesn't operate correctly on some of the functions due to being smaller. And so if you have a NVIDIA graphics card, you can actually hit Alt F3 if you have the GeForce Experience downloaded, and you will bring up what's called NVIDIA game filters. And NVIDIA game filters are a way to enhance the quality, visual quality of your game. So the clarity and the vibrance of your game will be much more enhanced. If you look at mine and then look over at your screen and see yours, you'll probably notice if you do not have NVIDIA game filters on, you'll notice a huge difference. Now, I don't have any settings personally, or a video, I should say, made for those settings. I can, if you are interested in that, drop a comment down below. But if you just YouTube NVIDIA game filters for Warzone 2, there's going to be a lot of really good made videos well-made videos out there that show kind of before and after, and go through some recommended settings and possibly, you know, why they chose what they chose. So anyways, guys, that is it for my settings. I really hope you enjoyed. Again, guys, I'm really looking forward to getting into creating more Warzone 2 content with Viper and Medela. So if you enjoyed this video and you're looking forward to those to come, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so that you can be notified whenever I post my next video. All right, guys, thank you, and hope you have a wonderful day or night.
Under pressure, no more time.